welcome back to Cloveriness. My name is Michelle and today I wanted to talk to you about some books that I want to read with my son. I'm not sure how many of you know, but I have two children, both boys. The eldest is 8 and he'll be turning 9 later in the year, and my youngest son has only just recently turned 6. Now my eldest is a very big reader. It makes me incredibly happy to sit with him and discuss books and what he's been reading, what he enjoys. I love listening to him laugh like crazy at whatever has happened in his books. I love just hearing his general thoughts on things. Some of the books that he's read and enjoyed in the past are a lot of Roald Dahl books. He loves Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He's recently read some of David Walliams' books and really enjoyed them. He's really into Beast Quest at the moment, as well as Astrosaurs and that sort of thing. The big love of his life, reading-wise anyway, has definitely been the Harry Potter series. He did read them all at a very young age, and I really didn't want him to read past the 3rd book without some adult supervision, and he rushed ahead and read them anyway. And throughout each of the books we really sat down together a lot and discussed a lot of the events, just so I was more okay with him reading about death and evil and that sort of thing, and to make sure that he was okay with it. Recently he's really gotten into The Hobbit after watching the film, and he's reading it at the moment. He also has taken an interest in Lord of the Rings after watching The Hobbit as well. So it looks like those are the books that he'll be reading in the very near future. We do maintain story time in this house, and at the moment he's decided that we should definitely read the first Percy Jackson book together. We only read the first chapter last night and he was really interested in it. But I thought today I'd talk to you about 5 of the books that I cannot wait to read with him. The first book I'm really excited to read with my son is The Amulet of Samarkand by Jonathan Stroud. I love the Bartimaeus series. I read it years ago, way before blogging, and I just really fell in love with the humor in these books. I really loved it. It's set in a modern day London with sort of a fantasy twist, and the 2 main characters is a magician's apprentice, Simon Lovelace, and a really mischievous Ginny Bartimaeus, and they get into all kinds of scraps and danger, and it's just it's a really fun adventure. I'm really excited to read this series with E. I think that he will love it. Well, I really hope that he loves it as much as I did. Now the second book that I really want to read with him is Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer. This is a book, again, that I read and loved way before blogging. I read it when I was working in a bookstore, and I read up until I think The Opal Deception before I kind of gave up on the series, but I really loved it. I think a story about a criminal mastermind and fairies is definitely something that I think that E will really enjoy, especially as E seems to really connect better with a lot of fantasy-based stories. Now the next book that I'm really excited to share with my son is more of a general, I want to read this author with him sort of thing, but that's The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents by Terry Pratchett. Now Terry Pratchett is an author that I only discovered within the last few years, so I have a lot of catching up to do. I absolutely adore this book, as well as his Tiffany Aching series, and especially Nation, which I don't actually have a copy of, but I want a copy of it because it's fantastic. I really love Terry Pratchett's sense of humor. I love how it makes reading his books really make me think. It makes me change my perspective on certain things, but they're also just so much fun. I definitely think that this would be a great book to read. Now the next book is again one of my favourite books, and that is Mortal Engines by Philip Reeve. This is a book about wrecker cities, and London is this moving thing. This book is just so much fun. I absolutely adored it when I read it, again years ago before blogging. I found this in a charity shop recently, and E actually started reading it already. I really look forward to when we both finish it and discussing it with him. Now the final book that I'm really excited to read with E is Sabriel by Garth Nix. I'm definitely going to be rereading this book very soon in the run-up to the publication of Clariel, the 4th book in this series, but I think that when I do reread it I will be reading it wondering if it's possibly a book that E will be able to appreciate and understand. This is definitely one of my favourite books ever. It was one of the first books that really hooked me into reading YA again, and I'm so excited for Clariel. I really am. So these are the 5 books that I'm really excited to be reading with my son. If you have any other suggestions for what I can read with an 8, almost 9-year-old who really loves funny books as well as fantasy-based books, then do let me know. Thank you again for watching.